Most people spend their entire lives terrified of failing, never realizing that they have already committed the greatest failure of all. They have settled for a life that is fine. They have chosen the safe, lukewarm middle ground where nothing ever goes truly wrong, but nothing ever matters either. We call it stability, we call it realism, and we call it balance. But if we were being honest, we would call it what it actually is: a slow-motion funeral for your potential. The most dangerous lie you will ever hear is that being average is a safe bet. It isn't. It is the most expensive mistake you can make. It costs you the one thing you can never earn back: your time. And it pays you in the currency of what if. If you are currently comfortable, but you feel a hollow ache in your chest when you're alone with your thoughts, that is your soul telling you that you are dying of boredom in a world that needs you to be alive. Why is the average life so seductive? Because it requires almost nothing from you. To be average, you don't have to be brave. You don't have to be disciplined. You don't even have to be honest. You just have to do what everyone else is doing. You watch what they watch, you spend what they spend, and you complain about what they complain about. Average is the psychological sanctuary where you are never judged because you never stand out. We fear failure because it's loud and visible. We imagine the embarrassment of the business that went under or the goal that wasn't reached. But failure is honest. Failure tells you exactly where you stand and what you need to learn. Average is a silent thief. It doesn't humiliate you. It just quietly erases the person you were meant to be. It convinces you that someday is a real date on the calendar and that your current lack of purpose is just a phase you're going through. The psychological truth is that we don't choose an average life because we lack talent. We choose it because we lack the courage to be responsible for our own outcomes. As long as you are average, you can blame the economy, your boss, or your circumstances. But the moment you strive for the life you were created for, you become a steward of your own destiny. And that responsibility is terrifying to a person who hasn't yet decided to be a leader of their own spirit. Success is not about having a bigger house or a faster car than your neighbor. That is just average, with a higher price tag. True greatness is the faithful expression of your God-given purpose. It is the humble recognition that you have been entrusted with a specific set of talents, and to leave them unused, or to use them at 40% capacity, is a profound act of ingratitude. Think of your life as a business you've been hired to manage. If a manager took a thriving company and allowed it to just drift along, neither growing nor improving, simply doing the bare minimum to stay open, they would be fired for negligence. Yet, we do this with our lives every day. We bury our talents in the sand because we are afraid of the risk of investment. We return a life that is unused, thinking we've played it safe, when we have actually committed the ultimate betrayal of our potential. An intentional life, the life beyond average, requires a mindset shift from getting through the day to investing the day. It is the realization that your effort is a form of worship and your growth is a form of service. When you become excellent at what you do, you gain the ability to help more people. When you master your discipline, you become a source of stability for others. Greatness is not a selfish pursuit. It is the prerequisite for being a person of true impact. The difference between an average life and a life of purpose is often found in the invisible inches. An average person makes decisions based on their current mood. If they feel tired, they rest. If they feel bored, they distract themselves. If they feel intimidated, they withdraw. This creates a life of compounding regret. Each time you choose the easy path, you are making it easier to choose the easy path tomorrow. 10 years later, you wake up in a life you didn't choose, wondering where the real you went. The intentional person makes decisions based on their permanent values. They understand the principle of the long view. They know that the discomfort of discipline is temporary, but the weight of regret is eternal. They are willing to be misunderstood today so they can be useful tomorrow. They don't look for shortcuts because they know that character isn't built on a shortcut. It's built on the steady, quiet persistence of doing the right thing for the right reasons, especially when no one is watching. Average people talk about their dreams as if they are fantasies. Intentional people treat their mission as a duty. To the average person, work is a burden. To the intentional person, work is the arena where they prove their faithfulness. There is a specific kind of arrogance in choosing to be average. It is the arrogance of assuming that you don't owe the world your best. It is the belief that you can sit on the sidelines while others do the difficult work of building, serving, and leading. A lukewarm life is a failure of responsibility. We are called to be salt and light, not beige and gray. We are called to be a people who act with conviction, who love with intensity, and who work with a spirit of excellence. When you settle for good enough, you are essentially saying that the world doesn't need your unique contribution. You are saying that your comfort is more important than your calling. Discomfort is the price of entry for a meaningful life. You cannot have growth without friction. You cannot have strength without resistance. The uncomfortable feeling you get when you try to change is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you are finally waking up. It is the feeling of a soul being refined. The version of you that is content with being average has to die so that the version of you that is capable of greatness can live. This isn't a one-time event. It is a daily execution. It starts with an audit of truth. You must look at your habits, your associations, and your schedule with total honesty. If your habits are average, your health will be average. If your conversations are average, your wisdom will be average. If your effort is average, your influence for good will be non-existent. You must stop seeking the approval of the crowd. The crowd is average. If you are doing what everyone else is doing, you are headed exactly where they are going, to a destination called I wish I had. Break the rhythm. Stop the gossip. Kill the distractions. Start being the person who does more than is expected, who stays longer than is required, and who cares more than is cool. Success is the quiet, steady result of a life lived with integrity and intensity. It is the peace of mind that comes from knowing you did not negotiate with your own potential. It is the joy of being a faithful steward of the time you were given. You are not a mistake. You were not placed here to just occupy space and pay bills. You are a repository of potential, a vessel of purpose, and a candidate for excellence. But none of that matters if you continue to choose the path of least resistance. The world is full of people who are fine. We don't need more fine people. We need people who are on fire for their mission. We need people who understand that their life is a gift, and the only appropriate response to that gift is to use it to its absolute fullest. Do not go to your grave with your best work still inside you. Do not let the fear of what people might think keep you in the safe middle ground. The middle ground is where dreams go to rot. The middle ground is where the real failure happens. Wake up. Look at the mission you've been avoiding. Look at the discipline you've been neglecting. Look at the person you know you are capable of becoming. The average life is a choice. And today, you can choose something else. You can choose the discomfort of growth. You can choose the responsibility of stewardship. You can choose the life you were actually meant to live. The clock is ticking, and the master of the house is coming back to see what you did with the talents you were given. What will you have to show him? A life that was safe, or a life that was faithful?
But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Matthew 6:33. May the Lord bless you and guide you in every good work.